I'm your true memory.
Save the future. The past must be sacrificed.
When I'm ready, and not before, always.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of my build guide. So in this video, I will be bringing you the medium budget version of the Necromancer Carrion Golem, and this is the CI Aurastacker version. So why play the CI Aurastacker and why the Carrion Golem? First, the aura stacking is cool and it allows a lot of party play with your friends. Okay, second, going CI because we will have one less problem to deal with, and on top of that, poison damage is very annoying to deal with right now. Third, the Carrion Golem just so because that I'm used to it and I'm very comfortable around it. Also, it is very beginner friendly, so it's something good and easy to start with. You definitely can play around with other minion skills, but it definitely have to scale with physical damage. Okay, and fourth, the build is very tanky, so it allows players to bypass many mistakes which you can make, like forgetting to dodge boss mechanics or just running in through some crazy pack of mobs with all the damage multipliers and stuff like that. You wouldn't die so fast and so easily. Okay, so some things to take note first. For those of you that have followed my build in 3.14, this build has actually greatly dropped in DPS due to the huge nerf in the core support gems. I've played around many times trying to tweak and improve the DPS, and this is kind of like what I got at the end result, and I can't really seem to see any other ways to improve it. So the next step is really just to go into the high budget version of this build. Also in this video, I will be going through the POE of how to navigate it and also all the important things you need to take note in playing this build. And then of course lastly, I will end off with the Q&A section of the common questions that player have asked me before. Okay, so let's start the guide. Okay, to start off, I will showcase the ratings and the stats description of the build. So in terms of map clear, this build is actually quite decent. I'm not sure if I should put A or S, but I think it's probably like in between. It clears relatively fast and well, but not as fast as the other minion builds. Okay, so for single target DPS, this build is definitely top tier. It has a lot of single target DPS with your Carrion Golem, just impaling and doing multi-strike to it. Okay, next is the survivability. This build is super tanky. If you can see the stats on the right, we have 3.6k energy shield, but this is like just the base energy shield. So if you were to add bone shield to it, is about additional 2.2k, and we are sitting at about 5.8k effective life. So yeah, you might think this is actually very average and mediocre for some build, but if you were to continue looking down, we have an evasion rating of 19k. That brings us with an evasion chance of 77%, and armor of 6.7k, which has 60% physical damage reduction. And on top of that, we have a block chance of 15%, attack and spell dodge chance of 24%. So this is without the Vow skills activated. With the Vow, Haste and Grace, we are going to have maximum attack, dodge and spell chance. And our fire, cold and lightning resistance is 83, 83 and 86%. And of course chaos resistance is 100% because we are going CI. Okay, for our Carrion Golem, the damage is 5.2 million, around there. So I've done some calculation. You can see that is, if multiplied by 4, because we have 4 golems, is estimated about 20 million DPS. Okay, we will be running a total of 14 auras, and the first one will be Precision, next will be Dread Banner, and then Purity of Ice, Fire and Lightning. We'll be running Vitality and then Clarity. So for Clarity, only keep at level 1 because this is just enough for our self-sustain of mana. You can always increase this level as long as you have sufficient mana. Okay. Next we have Haste, Grace, Discipline, Pride, Determination, Flesh and Stone, and the last one will be Aspect of the Avian. Okay, next, so this will be the mana related notables to run all the 14 auras. Please pay very close attention to this because many players have been asking me why I cannot run 14 auras. Okay, so first we have Sovereignty. This is one of the passive skills in your skill tree. You can always search them by typing all the names, and you are supposed to take whatever notes that you have seen it lighted up in the picture over here. Okay, so next will be Influence, and then you will need Leadership. So do remember that you do not take Leadership, but you take the 2 notes before that. And the reason is because the notes before that is mana reduce reservation of skills, sorry, and then aura, and we are going to mix this together with Might of the Meek, which is in your 4th notable to take note. And Might of the Meek actually increases the effect of non-keystone passive in radius by 50%. So the reduced reservation of skills is 4%. With Might of the Meek, it will bring us to 6%. Okay. And next will be Aligned Spirits, number 5. This is just for the additional minion damage, and we have quite a big chunk of increased maximum mana, 15%. Number 6 will be a Jewel Socket, which is near it, and you will need to put in the Conqueror's Efficiency over here. This Conqueror's Efficiency needs to have the 1% reduced reservation of skills implicit corrupted onto the jewel. Okay, number 7 is the Intuitive Leap. You will need this jewel in the socket, which is near Charisma. And number 8, we will be taking Charisma, which gives us 8% reduced reservation of skills, and the reduced reservation of skills beside it. So do take note there is 2 passive that you need to take over here. Okay, number 9, you will need the 4 specific passives from the medium cluster jewels. So the first is Sublime Form, which gives us 30% reduced mana reservation for Grace, as well as the 5% to all elemental resistance. Next will be Pure Might, which gives us 30% reduced mana reservation for Purity of Fire, and the plus 20 strength is pretty nice over there. The third will be Uncompromising, which has 30% reduced mana reservation for Determination. And the last one will be Pure Aptitude, which gives us Purity of Lightning, that has 30% reduced mana reservation, as well as the plus 20 to intelligence and 1% energy shield regeneration. Okay, your number 10 will be Alpha's Howl. So Alpha's Howl, you will need to have the enchantment Flesh and Stone has 30% reduced reservation. This is the best in slot for the Alpha's Howl. There is nothing better than this. Previously in 3.14, I've actually recommended to use the Pride enchantment, but I think we can just forget about it and just use the Flesh and Stone has 30% reduced reservation instead. So yeah, let's just keep it simple. And for number 11, your Sakawa's Nest, please try to get at least 60 attribute, and you definitely need to have the 10% reduced mana reserve. This is very important because having 9% or as in having less than 10% reduced mana reserve will mean that you are not able to run all 14 auras. Okay, number 12, we will need the Rare Shaper and Redimir Amulet, and it gives us 5% reduced reservation of skills, as well as we will need to anoint Champion of the Cause on it. Okay, number 13 will be Conqueror's Efficiency, like I mentioned earlier. You will need to corrupt this jewel with 1% reduced reservation of skills. So if you're not able to corrupt it, just buy one from the market. Okay, so this is how the skill tree will look like at level 90. I will not go through, you can just simply follow it. What I want to go through will be the different tabs over here. I've actually labeled it nicely. If you have troubles leveling, you can always follow my guide. I have put them very specifically at the end of which act, what are the skills you will need to add, and you can just add them accordingly. Okay, so as you can see, all the way until act 10, and then once you are level 70, I've just put it at level 70. This will be your respect skill tree. It actually shows how you are going to respect to at level 70, and please do take note that you can only use this if you have obtained all the required items, and at level 70 you are still unable to run all the auras yet. So if you are just respecting into this build, you will need to deactivate some of the auras. Okay, so once you are level 80, this is how the level 80 skill tree will look like. Do take note that you can only have precision at level 10, but you can start running all the auras. And then from there onwards, you can just follow my level 90 skill tree. Follow my level 90 skill tree and then the level 95. And if you want to go further, you can just go for level 100. It's fine. Okay, next up will be the skill gems. So I've written here the important things to take note of. Do read it first. And then follow below will be the main skill gems. I've listed down which are 3-link, 6-link, and 4-link, and including the 1-link ones. Of course, you need to take note that not all of them needs to be linked. As long as there are support gems, you will need to link them. So like stuff like the auras, of course you do not need to link it like this, where you have 2 auras and 2 utility skills. You definitely do not need to link it. So whether or not you want to link, it doesn't really matter. And below will be the skill gems for leveling. If you would like to have a smoother leveling process through the X, you can always follow this guide. Yep. That's all for the skill gems. Just follow them very closely, including the quality. And next for the items, this is the CR Aurastacker equipment. Just follow them accordingly and it will not go wrong. So for the Animate Guardian equipment, I've actually listed over here. You can follow them. On top of that, I've actually already, it's over here. I've actually already included the Animate Guardian buffs. It is not the full buff because some of them are not supported by POB, but whatever that you see here, like example this Granite Flask, I've actually listed the Kingmaker for the Animate Guardian. Where nearby allies have 50% to critical strike multiplier, it is included. But nearby allies have 45 will not be included. So like the next one will be Leer Cast, you and nearby allies gain 15% increased damage is included. Okay, so the next one also I've included the spectral buffs, like the Day of Two Snow Cloak has 15% chance to dodge attack hits and 15% chance to dodge spell hits is included. So yeah, you can just change this anytime. You can just go to the Granite Flask and then edit and remove all this if you do want to see them. And another thing to note is that this build is mostly full of unique items except for one C-Train Amulet and one Unset Ring, so it's quite relatively easy to build up. You don't really have to worry about all the modifiers for the rare items and stuff like that. And for the C-Train Amulet, how to craft it, I will explain it later on in the Q&A section. Okay, and the last thing on POB will be the notes section. So first, I have actually done a simple checklist on the things that players frequently miss out, like anointments, mana related notables and stuff like that, so do check it out. Next will be the Spectres to raise. I've also actually included it here. I will talk about it more later on. And yeah, I've noted here, if you're lazy, just take another Day of Two instead of Arena Master, or you can just change the last one to Carnage Chieftain or Host Chieftain, doesn't really matter. Okay, and I've also included over here the Animate Guardian equipment, so for reference you can just see it, or you can just go to the item section and change this to have a look. Okay, and yeah, so something I want to talk about this, this setup actually gives more damage because of Leer Cast. So most of the Stitch Demon, I know it gives very high survivability with the energy shield armor, but I've tried many times and it's really not needed. So our current Animate Guardian already has 80k HP with 15% regeneration per second, so that's like 12k HP regen per second, and that is a lot. If your Animate Guardian is still dying with 12,000 HP regen per second, I think something is wrong with your map mod, or is either you are doing a physical reflect damage mod. Okay, next, your Animate Guardian will definitely be the last to die because he is the ultimate tanker in your whole party, so you don't really have to worry. You just need to be careful of physical reflect maps like I mentioned, and race cost map, because race cost map for the boss, it actually has an inbuilt physical reflect damage buff. Okay, and next below, so if you are starting from scratch, you will need to find the correct socket colors for your equipment, right? So I've actually listed here the colors you are needed to search along the way. So like for the 3 links, this is your Act 1 to Act 2. And then your 4 links is from Act 3 onwards. And also your spec equipment if you like to continue leveling other skill gems while going through the acts. Okay, so I have listed here my Discord, our Discord group. If you would like to ask more questions or anything else, feel free to join and I will try to assist you. Okay, I've already mentioned previously the Animate Guardian setup, so this is just a rough understanding of how you should set up your Animate Guardian with pictures. And for the gloves, just search for any gloves with curse on hit vulnerability 48%. It literally can be anything, whether is it unique or non-unique. You just need to have this cursed enemies with vulnerability on hit, and then you are good to go. Of course, there will be 40%, 44%, and 48%. Try to get the ones with 48%. Okay, next I want to talk about the Spectres. So with our current setup, we can actually use 4 Spectres. It's for those of you that are actually struggling to get the level 21 Spectre gem and the level 3 Empower, which what enables us to have 4 Spectres. you can always use 3 first. So not really important, but yeah. Okay, so the first Carnage Chieftain, you can find this in X7 River Ways. This provide frenzy charges, and then Host Chieftain also at X7 River Ways. This provide power charges, and these two are the most important party buffs in our setup. Like without this, there is not really a lot of damage improvement. So these two are like the core support buffs for our team. And then next will be Day of 2. You can find this in Tools, Breach or Domain. Yeah, the one that actually open the breaches in your normal maps, they do have them also. You need to look out for them very carefully. So it actually provides Snow Cloak, which has 15% additional attack and spell dodge chance, like I mentioned earlier. So what it actually does, it has a very big vortex of vortex that it will cast on the ground and it stays there. So it's not really a permanent buff, but it is more for fighting against bosses. Okay, and then the last one will be Arena Master. So Arena Master can be found at Drops Portal, and the Arena Master provides a buff that grants 40% movement speed, attack and cast speed, but it does not have 100% uptime. So from what I understand, this buff only lasts for 2.5 seconds and he has a 12-second cooldown. For those of you that would like to have a surge or sudden burst of damage, you can use the Arena Master. Otherwise, I personally use 2 Carnage Chieftain, 1 Host Chieftain and 1 Day of 2, because I just want my frenzy charges to be up mostly all of the time at all time. Okay, I will start the Q&A section right now. So the first question is, how do I transition from the low budget to this build? The answer is very simple. You just need to purchase all of the items. I have a Google spreadsheet for you guys to purchase the items easier. It's like a cheat sheet. You just need to click the link, ensure that the item is purchased, and then there will be a tick box for you to check if you have purchased the items already. So it's like more like a checklist and a quick link to whatever items that you will need to get. Okay, next, how much does this build cost on an average? So this build costs about 50 exalts on an average. Okay, it is like plus minus. There is no exact amount of currency needed because the market is always changing. Like yesterday, 1 exalt was like 80 chaos. Today, suddenly it was 95 chaos per exalt. So the market is constantly changing. I cannot guarantee a fixed price on all of the items, but on an average, it costs about 50 exalts. And this 50 exalts does not include the skill gem prices. So bear in mind, if you are including the skill gem prices, it will be much more than that. Okay, next question. Can I change the Carrion Golem to other minion skills instead? The answer is yes, you can change. However, if you were to change the Carrion Golem to other minion skills, you will need to change many other stuff as well. So stuffs like your primordial jewels, and then the only minion skills that you can change will be physical related ones. So because this build is built around physical damage, you will not be able to run other minion skills that has elemental damage, because the other minion skills that require elemental damage will require conversion, right? So like example, you will need to use the triad gloves for the cold conversion or whatever elemental conversion you need, and that will actually change the build, the way how this build works. So like you will not have enough mana to reserve all of them, and then the skills and then the auras also, because we are running like pride, so pride will not help in elemental damage and stuff like that. So you just need to take note and play around. I'm pretty sure it's workable. You can use mine as a reference, and yeah, do let me know if there's any interesting builds that you have came up with. Okay, next question. How do I craft the amulet? I am going to show you now step by step, so please be very careful because I have players that have crafted wrongly and like just 2 to 3 exhausts go down the drain because Awakener's Orb is very expensive. Okay guys, so I'm going to show you how you can craft the amulet because many players have actually done it wrongly previous league and it is very taxing because the Awakener's Orb is very expensive. Okay, so there are 3 items you need. First, of course, is the Awakener's Orb, and then second, you will need an amulet that has that grants level 22 determination skill. And as you can see mine, right, there is a suffix modifier of shaping. So what this means is this particular line of modifier is a shaper modifier, and in your amulet you must only have this shaper modifier. You cannot have another modifier that has of shaping. So let's say if your amulet has 2 suffix or prefix modifier of shaping, you cannot use the amulet. Please take note, this is very important because if you have 2 modifiers of shaping, when you combine the amulet together, it will take one of them. It is at random. Okay, so if you only have one, they will only take that particular line of shaper modifier. Okay, so yeah, the first one, amulet that grants level 22 determination skill. And the second amulet, you need to have the suffix modifier of redemption. You can see on the second line. I currently have the 5 to 4% reduced reservation of skill. Bear in mind, you need to have 5 to 4%, okay? It doesn't matter what number it is, but it can be either 4 or 5, but yeah, it has to be within this range. And same like the shaper, you need to remember, you only can have one line of modifier of the redeemer, which is of redemption. You cannot have more than that, otherwise it is all based on RNG. And okay, the next thing you need to take note is one of them needs to be a citrine amulet. Like, it doesn't matter which one is it, just one of them needs to be a citrine amulet. Okay, so what you're gonna do, you're gonna right click this. Okay, sorry, hold on. Before that, as you can see the description, right click this item, then left click the item you wish to take the influence from. So basically this means the item that is not the citrine amulet. Okay, it is not the citrine amulet. And then left click an item of the same class that you wish to apply it to, which means the second item you click again must be the citrine amulet. Okay, so I'm going to do it now. Just right click it and then left click the item that is not the citrine amulet, which is this, and then left click again the item that is the citrine amulet. Okay, you see here? So now I actually got both grants level 22 determination skill and 5% reduced reservation of skill. So in circumstances that it is only 4% reduced reservation of skill, please use the divine orb to change the numbers. This is something that is not within our control. It is still randomly generated. Okay, so yeah, this is how you get the amulet. And then last but not least, you can just go to your bench craft and craft the increased maximum energy shield. So you can just roll until you get 20%. There you go. And here it is, your amulet is done. This is how you craft the amulet properly. So please take note of the steps, otherwise any careless mistakes is going to cost you a bomb. Okay, next question. How do I craft the large cluster jewel? There are a few ways, so I will show it to you now. Okay, so the first alternative is to purchase the minion cluster jewel with renewal and rotten claw. Okay, you need to have this too, and then make sure that it has a open suffix slot. So this can be anything else except for the passive skills. Okay, so once you actually have a suffix slot, as you can see here, you can go to harvest, and then what you do is you augment critical onto the cluster jewel. Okay, so you can buy this from Discord or just keep running harvest until you see them. even though I know that the augment of critical is super extremely rare. So if you want to save time, just go over to the Discord the Trove channel and then purchase the augment crit. Okay, so what happens is once you have augment crit, it is definitely guaranteed 100% that you will get vicious bite. Okay, so this is how you can craft your large cluster jewel. This is one method. Okay, the next method will be to use the fossil crafting. So for some of you that do not know, you can actually fossil craft on your cluster jewel. And we will want to put jagged and pristine into our fossil crafting, because we are going to roll for renewal and rotten claws, and then just hopefully we have fisher spy. Okay, so this method is not really recommended by me, but if you would like to try your luck, you can go ahead. Otherwise, you can try and roll until you have renewal and rotten claw, and then just augment crit with the harvest crafting. Okay, this is honestly not recommended. As you can see, I'm rolling a lot and I still do not even get renewal and rotten claws together. Okay, so yeah, renewal and rotten claw is the more important passive that we need. Vicious claw can be done later on. But as you can see, I've already actually spent like nearly 100 chaos on this, and if you were to just buy these two passive with the cluster jewel, it is definitely lesser than 100 chaos. Okay, so I really do not recommend doing this method. And the other method is to just use chaos orb and spam. Oh wait, I actually got it. I didn't notice. So yeah, this is actually after spending like 112 chaos estimate. But I really don't recommend. And the next method will be to just spam chaos orb until you get the either renewal and rotten claws, or even all three of them. But you need to be like super extremely lucky, because the weightage on all three of them coming together is actually very, very rare. Okay, next question. How do I craft the Hungry Loop ring? And also, are there any other skill gem options that are not listed in the Hungry Loop? So first of all, for the Hungry Loop, I've actually put in 4 gems over here. Socketed gems are supported by level 20 Maim, level 20 Feeding Frenzy, level 20 Minion Life, and level 20 Ice Bite. So how do you actually put them inside is you level them up at level 19. So when they reach level 20, it will automatically, the ring will automatically just eat the jewel, and it will have the modifier on the ring itself. Okay. And then regarding other support gems that are not listed over here, like yes, you can change them, and I will suggest the only one that you should change is level 20 Ice Bite. So you can change it to mid shield, blind support and stuff like that. But I choose Ice Bite is because Ice Bite provides the 15% chance to freeze, and the small amount of cold damage can actually chill the bosses. Like just a little bit is also better than not having any chill. And yeah, you will have 8 zombies. So 8 zombies with 15% freeze is going to be quite common. The hit rate is actually quite high. So if you would like some more survivability in your zombies, then yeah, just feel free to go and change the level 20 Ice Bite to mid shield instead. Okay, the next question is, can I change the utility flask? Of course you can. For now, I am using the Quicksilver, Quartz, Granite, Jade, and I'm actually using Elixir of the Unbroken Circle. So I think this flask is actually a bit underrated, but it grants endurance charges per second during flask effect. So which means you will always have like 3 endurance charges, and this gives you additional physical damage reduction. Okay, so if you were to pair this with the new Instilling Orb, wait, was it Instilling Orb? I can't remember, the one that actually increases duration. It is going to be super good, because you will have the full uptime of the endurance charges. Yeah, but the downside is that once your flask and you will need to recharge the flask again before you can use it. Okay, and for the change of flask, I would recommend not to change granite and jade, because this is your bread and butter to how much armor and how much evasion rating you can get. Like, this is your base, so this is not really recommended to change. But for the quartz and the quicksilver flask, if you would like to remove the movement speed for something else like your basalt or steep knight flask, sure, you can do it. And then the quartz flask is just mainly used because of the phasing, and I want some immunity to bleed, because bleed is still extremely pain if we are not careful. Okay, next question. I'm not able to run all 14 auras due to mana problems. What is missing? Okay, guys, I have actually many players asked this many times already, so you really need to look back at my slides and at the mana related section, and then just make sure that every notable has been run correctly. Like, you need to take every one of them, otherwise you will not be able to run all 14 auras. Okay, next question. Can this build do reflect maps or Aziri? Because Aziri has reflect damage as well. The answer is yes, it can do. So what do you actually need? First, you will need this ring over here. This is the Sibiu's lemon. You need to put it on your right ring slot. Okay, so over here. So in situations where you need to use for the to negate the reflect damage, please remove the unset ring and then put the Sibiu's lemon on it. And then the next thing you want to do is just press Y to go to your Pantheon, and then change the passive the skills over here to Soul of Yugu. So Soul of Yugu will make you and your minions take 25% reduced reflected damage. So this is all including physical and elemental. So with 25% and Sibiu's Lemnon, you will have 100% reduced reflect physical damage. Okay, next question. So I have now completed the build. How else can I improve it? This is very simple. The next step to improving the build is to go to change your skills on your Carrion Golem to the awakened version of it. So there is the awakened multi-strike, which is super expensive, and then the awakened brutality, awakened melee physical damage, awakened minion damage. I don't think there is a awakened increased damage. Let me just do a quick check. Yeah, there is no awakened increased damage. So you can only improve it by upgrading the 4 core support gems to the awakened version. Okay, next question. Can this build AFK and do blind maps? I would say it's actually 50-50, but if you would like to do blind maps and AFK, you will definitely need 2 Day of 2, because the vortex that gives you the damage reduction and the attack and spell dodge is very important. So I really do not know how well this build can fare in AFKing blind maps, but you can give it a try. I actually did AFK in blind maps in the previous league, but not in the red tier ones, in like the white and yellow tier maps, and I've succeeded. So I think it can do, but not on red tier maps. And just do not forget that actually this league your damage has dropped quite drastically. I'm really not sure if or how viable it is to AFK and do blind maps. Okay, next question. In what order should I purchase those listed items? First of all, you will definitely need to purchase all your jewels and equipments, and of course your cluster jewels and your flasks. And then you should purchase the skill gems last, because if you are transiting from the low budget version, you should just use the current skill gems first. Otherwise, if you are starting off scratch from no item, you can always buy the level 2020 skill gems. Okay, that's all for my build guide and the Q&A section. Hopefully I have covered all the important things for this build. Otherwise, you can always head over to my Discord channel and ask questions over there like everybody else. And also, if there are any bench crafts that you need, you can always hit me up and I will help you craft it. Yeah, not much of an issue there. Overall, I must say I'm actually quite sad that this build has dropped in DPS a lot. Previously we had about 7.5 million damage per golem, but we only have like 5M now. However, I'm still quite satisfied that it is still very tanky. Just that it will not be able to kill the boss as fast as compared to 3.14 League. So for those of you out there that really wants a same CI Aurastacker build but using a different minion skill, you can always approach me and I will see what I can do with it. Because I myself understand that Carrion Golem is actually quite underwhelming now. I would also wish to change to another minion, but for now I'll just follow with this build and start working on the Summon Reaper build. So once again, thank you for watching. Do remember to hit the like and subscribe button. Enjoy playing the build and I will see you in the next video. Bye!